Hey, what's good, fam? Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I was thinking about this watching the NFL draft. What a flex by Nick Saban. Looking at this article from Yahoo Sports, and it's saying that Alabama's streak of 15 seasons with the first rounder began back in 2009 when Cincinnati Bengals selected Andre Smith with the number 6 pick. And as you just watched, Alabama added 3 more first-round draft picks. Bryce going number 1. The Texans trading up to get Will Anderson. Then you had Jahmyr Gibbs going to the Lions. You also had Brian Branch going to the Lions, right? Roll Lions, roll. It's just incredible what Nick Saban is doing. And I think Shannon Terry of On3, who's the CEO, said it best just recently. Said that Alabama clearly underachieved last season. I think he's right on that. I mean, you have the first round number 1 pick, and then you have the number 3 pick on each side of the football, and you don't bring home the national championship, right? That's pretty unacceptable. I think Georgia had 3 first-round picks as well. And when you look back to the past couple of drafts, let's just look at 2022. You had Jameson Williams going number 12, and then you had Evan Neal going number 7. In 2021, you had Jalen Waddle going 6, Patrick Surtain going 9, Devontae Smith, a.k.a. Smitty, going 10, Mac Jones going 15, Alex Leatherwood going 17, Najee going number 24. Man, that's just, what a class, right? That was an unbelievable squad. That was the COVID year when Alabama went undefeated. Nick Saban has proven time and time again, year after year, that not only is he going to make a run at the college football national championship and have his teams there, the standard of excellence, but ultimately the reason that you're going to Alabama and what he continues to pitch is that he can get you playing on Sunday if you have the right mentality, if you have the right psychological disposition to get there. Of course, it doesn't hurt to have the talent to be playing on Sundays, but Alabama is still NFLU. Every single position now, I think, has a starter in the NFL from Bama. Honestly, watch the NFL on Sunday, and it's like every single team, well, besides the Niners, that's the squad that I follow, has somebody from Bama playing or starting. And I think when we talk about these quarterbacks, we're getting all fired up because look what we're accustomed to. Jalen Hurts just signed a remarkable deal with the Eagles, and rightfully so. Tua's doing his thing with the Dolphins. You have Mac Jones with the Patriots. And now you have Bryce Young, who's a number 1 pick, the first ever number 1 pick in Alabama history. Think about that. Going to the Panthers. It's unbelievable. So the quarterback position is of high importance. Yes, every single year at every school, that's the main thing, right? How's the quarterback play? We want to be Monday morning quarterback and talk about how the quarterbacks did this past weekend, whatever. But that's why it's such a big deal. And there is clearly a drop-off from the number 1 pick overall in the NFL. And that's where our standards are at now, right? That's like what we're accustomed to is an NFL starter. And I think there's been people inside the comment box that have said Alabama doesn't need a first-round draft pick to win games. I agree with that. But shouldn't our standards be the ultimate, right? Shouldn't we be accustomed to having first-round draft picks at every single position? Isn't that what these coaches are paid for? To go out to recruit and get the best available talent? And every starter on Alabama should be fighting for a spot to play in the league. That's what we're accustomed to, and especially at the quarterback position. And I think fans know that after watching the spring game, that clearly Alabama doesn't have a quarterback currently that could play in the NFL one day. I think Jalen Milro is going to be a fine quarterback. Same with Ty Simpson. Jury's still out on Tyler Buckner. Got to do, more due diligence. I got to see the guy play with actual Alabama players before we make an assessment on the kid, right? I know he lost to Marshall. I know, he didn't do that well against Ohio State, but I don't know. Tommy Rees, Nick Saban seems to feel, he's the right guy for the job, and he has history with Buckner. So maybe Buckner comes and impresses us, with the wide receivers that Alabama has in the backfield and the offensive line. It's a completely different set of elite players than at Notre Dame. Let's face it. Every single time Notre Dame gets to the playoffs, it's laughable because we know what's going to happen. Notre Dame is nowhere near Alabama's level. Nowhere. That's why, every time Notre Dame's up there, I'm like, oh, God, I hope they don't play Alabama because Alabama's going to kill them. I get it. When Brian Kelly was there, it was moderately close, but Alabama dominated that game. It's just an incredible flex for Nick Saban to have all these first-round draft picks and all these guys going to the NFL. So just recently, it was back at the Bryant-Denny Stadium, and we're interviewing players. You can watch my interview with Ja'Cory Brooks, for example, to help you paint this picture. But behind Ja'Cory Brooks is this wall that's probably about, 50 feet long, and it's just covered in 3 rows of NFL jerseys. It's just, what a flex. And they did that on purpose because they know that the media is going to be filming these guys up against this wall of NFL greatness. Truly unbelievable to see what Nick Saban continues to do from the college level and getting these guys to the ultimate goal of playing in the league. Congratulations again to Bryce Young. I know his father, and his father is a tremendous person, mental health professional. They talked about some of that with some of the interviews that they've conducted with Bryce, and Bryce just really handled himself so well. All the quarterbacks did from the past at Alabama, and that's, you want your quarterbacks to be to really exemplify that leadership and just the overall complete package from the charismatic standpoint. And Bryce did that, and I think a lot of that stems from his parents, who did a wonderful job with him. I'm really happy for Bryce and his family to be the number 1 pick, the first ever pick at Alabama ever. I fire people up on our Facebook page, Bama Football on Facebook or whatever. I said, is Bryce the best ever quarterback at Alabama? People were getting heated in there, right? They were like, if Joe Namath had the same talent, he would be the best. And they were like, AJ McCarron. They're like, AJ McCarron has the most titles. He's the best. What do you think? Who is the best quarterback to ever be at Alabama? Straight up. It certainly, in my opinion, is between Tua, Mac, and Bryce. And the reason I throw Mac into that battle is because, yeah, granted, he had the best team probably, but his efficiency numbers were unbelievable. I think the guy was like 75% throwing. But look at his targets. Look at his weapons, right? Look at his offensive coordinator. Tua threw the best ball ever. When he threw it, it was like, the touch that he had on his deep balls was so unbelievable. Then again, look at the wide receivers that he had, right? Bryce didn't have those type of weapons, and he also had Bill O'Brien as his offensive coordinator. But the thing that Bryce had that Tua didn't have and Mac didn't have was the escapability. Mac had the toughness. Tua was frequently injured, suffered some horrific injuries. That hip injury was horrible. But Bryce, he was a gingerbread man, right? He got tangled up a couple times, but he knew how to fall. He was just tough to get a hold of. He could extend plays probably even better than Johnny Manziel, which is crazy to think about. Some of those plays were like 17 seconds, and he was keeping his eyes downfield, and he'd pull a rabbit out of his hat and launch it downfield. It was amazing. Amazing to see. I'm going to miss watching Bryce. And I think the first time we knew that Bryce simply had it was that first game against Miami when he got the starting spot. And he's like in the shadow of his own end zone, and he bombs it down to Jameson Williams. We knew 2 things. We knew, number 1, Jameson Williams is fast AF, and number 2, that Bryce is the real deal. And then that was it. The rest of the season, Bryce just completely rolled. Um, yeah, so I just kind of wanted to get on here and talk about the NFL draft and just talk about a couple other things, kind of Alabama football related as we go into the weekend. Had that video go up on Jalen Milro, and people were asking, why you put a video out on Jalen Milro? Why do you assume that he's leaving and Ty Simpson's not? Well, because Tony Sukalis had the story on Jalen Milro. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about stories. If there was a story on Ty Simpson, then we talk about Ty Simpson. I mean, you guys, it's funny because it's like you guys think there's some sort of narrative out there about like trying to get rid of Milro or Simpson, or that I care about, one player more than another. I really don't. I want the best player to play at Alabama, period. Like 1,000,000%. That's all I want. And I think that's what Nick Saban is going to deliver, right? The best players will play regardless. So, yeah, there's that. Did you guys see the Tony Mitchell police body cam footage? I saw it on the message boards all over. Man, just terrible stuff. I mean, just the young man, he looked completely freaked out. If you haven't watched it, I actually encourage you not to watch it. And now you're probably going to go watch it, but save yourself the mental imagery from this young man going through probably one of the worst moments in his entire life. It was I don't condone any of it. I haven't even really researched all of it. I know I've like read the reports and stuff like that, but just like the footage and stuff like that sucks, man. I mean, for anybody to go through that type of situation in their life, and just, man, it just sucks. I hate stuff like that. This just in, I got a notification from Alabama football. You got Tyler Steen, who was the Vanderbilt transfer from the Commodores, who came up as starting tackle for Bama, is going to Philadelphia. The Eagles loading up, right? They like those guys from Bama. And someone said the other day when we were talking in one of our live shows, they're like, hey, Alabama fans, you can't claim Jalen Hurts. He's Oklahoma. No, he's not. He's 1,000,000% built by Bama. Right? He is. He graduated from Alabama. Right? He's from Bama. So, yeah, I thought that was funny when somebody said that. I appreciate you guys' support so much on the YouTube channel. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Really appreciate you guys supporting us and or supporting me on the channel. Hit the thumbs up. It'll go a long way. Really appreciate you guys hitting the thumbs up on all these videos. Give me your feedback inside the comment box. I try to get back to as many people as I can. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on this beautiful Friday evening. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube.